God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny. Don't skip this. Open urgently before midnight. These are not ordinary words. This is not casual encouragement. This is a divine interruption. If this message found you today, it is because heaven marked this moment long before you pressed play. There are times when God speaks gently, and there are times when He speaks with urgency. Tonight carries urgency. Tonight carries weight. Tonight carries a turning point that cannot be postponed. You may not understand why you felt drawn here. You may not know why your spirit feels stirred. But I tell you now, this is not random. A surprise visitor is being positioned in your path, and this encounter is directly connected to your destiny. When God says surprise, He means beyond your expectation, beyond your planning, beyond your control. We serve a God who delights in moving through the unexpected. Just when you think nothing is happening, He orchestrates meetings, conversations, and encounters that shift the entire direction of your life. And here is the rare revelation. Destiny often arrives disguised as interruption. The knock at the door you did not anticipate. The call you did not plan to answer. The message that seems ordinary at first glance, but hidden inside that moment is a divine assignment. Hidden inside that visitor is a key connected to your future. Why before midnight? Because midnight represents a spiritual threshold. It is the line between what was and what will be. It is the crossing from one day into another. In the spirit, midnight is a place of decision, a place of awakening, a place where chains break and announcements are made. But be seeing that something is closing and something is opening, and your awareness must rise before the clock shifts. This is not about fear. This is about preparation. It is about being spiritually alert. Because when destiny knocks, delay can cost you more than you realize. There are people who miss their moment because they thought it could wait. There are blessings that passed by because someone hesitated. God does not force destiny upon you. He invites you into it. And invitations require response. That is why this message carries urgency. The surprise visitor connected to your destiny is not a coincidence. It is a divine appointment. And divine appointments are time-sensitive. You cannot treat sacred timing as ordinary timing. Some of you have been praying for change, praying for clarity, praying for breakthrough. You have asked God to send confirmation. You have asked Him to open a door you cannot open yourself. What if the answer you have been waiting for is not coming in the form you expected? What if it is arriving through a person, through a conversation, through someone you would normally overlook? God uses people as vessels. He uses human connection to unlock supernatural purpose. And when He says a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He means that this encounter carries consequence. It carries movement. It carries alignment. Do not assume that because it feels sudden, it is unstable. Sudden does not mean accidental. In the kingdom of God, sudden often means prepared in secret. While you were waiting, heaven was arranging. While you were doubting, God was aligning details you could not see. This visitor had been part of a divine blueprint long before today. You may not recognize them immediately. You may not understand the significance at first. But something in your spirit will feel different. There will be a stirring, a recognition, a sense that this moment matters. And this is why you must not skip this. Distraction is one of the enemy's greatest weapons when destiny is near. When something significant is approaching, confusion increases. Doubt whispers louder. Fatigue tries to pull you away. You may have felt unusual resistance today. You may have felt heaviness or restlessness. That is not random either. When heaven moves, opposition reacts. But the presence of resistance is often proof of importance. God is saying, stay alert, stay sensitive, stay open. Before midnight, prepare your heart. Lay down assumptions. Release fear. Ask God for discernment. Because when this visitor steps into your space, whether physically or digitally, you must be ready to recognize the connection. Destiny is not always loud. Sometimes it arrives quietly. Sometimes it begins with a simple introduction. But from that introduction flows a chain of events that reshapes your future. This message is important because it reminds you that you are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are not invisible. Heaven is actively arranging your next chapter. The surprise visitor is not here to harm you. They are not here to waste your time. They are connected to your becoming, connected to your growth, connected to the unfolding of promises you thought were delayed. Don't take this seriously. Not with anxiety, but with expectation. Lift your awareness. Guard your time. Be intentional in your conversations. Because before this day closes, something is shifting. God does not release urgent words without purpose. And if you are hearing this now, it means you are standing at the edge of something significant. A divine encounter is closer than you think. And what happens next may mark the beginning of the destiny you have been praying for all along. Heaven moves through unexpected encounters more often than we realize. God rarely announces destiny with fireworks and noise. More often, He wraps it in ordinary clothing and sends it through a person you did not see coming. When God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He is revealing a pattern that has echoed throughout spiritual history. Divine shifts are often carried by human vessels. Breakthroughs walking on 2 feet. Answers speak in familiar voices. And the moment that changes everything can begin with something that feels completely routine. Think about this. Some of the greatest turning points in your life did not arrive with warning. They began with a conversation, a meeting, an introduction. At the time, it may have seemed small, but later, you looked back and realized that was the moment everything started to change. That is how God works. He plants destiny inside encounters. He hides acceleration inside introductions. He wraps promotion inside connection. And when the timing is right, He allows the paths of 2 people to cross in a way that unlocks purpose. You may have been asking God for a sign. You may have been waiting for a dramatic confirmation. But what if the confirmation is not dramatic? What if it is relational? God often answers prayers through alignment. He aligns you with someone who carries information you need. Someone who carries opportunity you could not access alone. Someone who carries wisdom, access, resources, or even a simple word that shifts your direction. The visitor is not random. The meeting is not accidental. It is orchestrated. And here is something powerful to understand. When heaven arranges an encounter, it also prepares both sides. While you were praying, God was working on the other person. While you were wondering how things would change, God was stirring movement in someone else's life. There is divine choreography happening behind the scenes. Steps you cannot see. Conversations you are unaware of. Decisions being made that will position this visitor at the exact intersection of your life. This is why discernment matters. Not every visitor is destiny, but some are. Not every knock is significant, but some carry spiritual weight. The key is sensitivity. When God is about to move you into a new season, He often sends confirmation through relationship. The right voice at the right time. The right suggestion at the right moment. The right connection when you feel like you are running out of options. Heaven understands that we are relational beings, so it uses connection as a vehicle for transformation. You might be tempted to dismiss the next interaction as coincidence. You might assume it is just another person passing through your life. But pause before you label it ordinary. Pray before you overlook it. Listen before you react. Because this encounter may hold more than you realize. It may carry the missing piece to something you have been building. It may carry clarity for a decision you have been struggling to make. It may carry access to a door you have been knocking on for years. And I want to say something important right here. If this message is stirring something in you, if you feel a quiet confirmation rising in your spirit, take a moment to engage with it. Like this video as a sign of agreement. Comment that you are ready for divine alignment. Subscribe to this channel so you do not miss the next prophetic word connected to your journey. Share this message with someone who hath been praying for change. When you engage, you are not just supporting a video. You are amplifying a word that could awaken someone else's destiny. Your simple action may be the very encouragement another person needs today. Heaven moves through participation. It moves through agreement. When you respond in faith, you create room for more revelation. You declare that you are not passive. You are attentive. You are ready. And readiness attracts movement. Right now, something is shifting in the unseen realm. The visitor connected to your destiny is being positioned. It may be someone new, or it may be someone already in your life whose role is about to change. Conversations will deepen. Opportunities will surface. Invitations will appear. And when they do, you will remember this moment. You will remember that God warned you not to treat it lightly. You not underestimate simple beginnings. Many divine assignments start quietly. A greeting, a question, an offer, a collaboration. The seed looks small at first, but inside that seed is a tree you cannot yet see. God specializes in hiding greatness inside humility. He disguises destiny as normalcy. He protects sacred transitions by wrapping them in simplicity. So prepare your heart. Ask God to sharpen your awareness. Decide now that you will not dismiss what He sends. The encounter that feels surprising to you has already been scheduled in heaven. And when it unfolds, it will not just be a meeting. It will be movement. It will be alignment. It will be the beginning of a chapter you did not see coming, but one that was always written into your destiny. There is a hidden connection between the surprise visitor and your future that you cannot afford to ignore. When God says that a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He is not speaking about something casual or temporary. He is revealing that this person carries a thread that ties directly into your next season. This is not just about a meeting. It is about movement. It is about alignment. It is about a divine bridge forming between where you are now and where you have been praying to go. Many times, we imagine destiny as a solo journey. We think it is only about our talent, our effort, our waiting. But heaven often uses people as connectors. The visitor coming into your life is not arriving empty-handed. They are carrying insight you need. They are carrying access you do not currently have. They are carrying perspective that will unlock clarity. You may not see it at first glance. In fact, it may look ordinary. But hidden inside their words, their presence, where their opportunity is a key. God uses people as bridges. And bridges are designed to help you cross from one place to another. Some bridges are strong and permanent. Others are seasonal but necessary. Either way, they are critical for transition. This visitor is part of your crossing. Something about this interaction will shift your direction, even if the shift is subtle at first. It may redirect your focus. It may confirm what you have been sensing. It may introduce you to a path you did not know existed. But one thing is certain. It is connected to your becoming. You have been praying for doors to open. You have been asking for divine help. You have been crying out for confirmation that you are not alone in this journey. What if the answer to those prayers is arriving in human form? What if the support, the wisdom, the opportunity, or even the correction you need is about to speak through this visitor? Sometimes we expect miracles to fall from the sky, but God often sends them through people who walk into our lives at just the right time. There are signs that confirm this message is for you. You have been feeling a shift in the atmosphere around your life. You have sensed that something is about to change, even if you cannot explain it. You may have felt both anticipation and resistance at the same time. There may have been unusual dreams, sudden thoughts about the future, or a deep stirring in your spirit that says, "Prepare." These are not random emotions. They are signals. They are reminders that you are stepping into a new alignment. But here is the warning. Fear and hesitation can delay what heaven is trying to release. When destiny approaches, doubt often rises. You may question whether you are ready. You may wonder if you are worthy. You may be tempted to withdraw instead of engage. Do not let insecurity sabotage your alignment. The visitor connected to your destiny is not coming to expose your weakness. They are coming to activate your potential. They are not here to diminish you. They are here to unlock something within you that has been waiting for the right moment. And as you listen to this, I want you to understand something deeply. This message is not just information. It is preparation. Heaven is giving you insight before the encounter happens so that you can recognize it when it arrives. When the conversation begins, when the opportunity appears, when the unexpected contact reaches out, you will remember this word, and you will respond differently. You will respond with awareness instead of hesitation. Here is something powerful that is about to unfold, and what comes next will reveal how precise God's timing truly is. You will be glad you stayed for what is about to be revealed, because the next steps in this message will uncover how to handle this encounter so that nothing is lost. Type "I receive divine visitation" in the comments if this resonates with you. Blessing code 114 is now activated. Now, before we move forward, hear this as a sacred continuation of what God is doing through this message. When you sow into this mission, you are not giving to a channel. You are helping this prophetic word reach the very person whose destiny depends on hearing it in time. Scripture declares, "As long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease," and God is speaking that promise over you right now. Every super thanks, every membership, every PayPal seed becomes a river that carries living water to thirsty souls across the world. I feel led to say this clearly. When you respond in generosity, you align yourself with the very destiny activation we are speaking about. The PayPal link is in the description, and you may also see the PayPal QR code flashing in this video. This is your moment to act. Do not treat this as a simple donation. Treat it as prophetic sowing into fertile ground. As you release your seed, may open heavens respond over your life, and may the same divine alignment being released in this message manifest in your household. Step into obedience now and sow boldly. Before destiny connects, distraction intensifies. Before alignment manifests, opposition whispers. That is why you must understand something clearly. If you have felt unusual pressure, confusion, or emotional turbulence lately, it is not a coincidence. When God declares that a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, the enemy does not remain silent. He attempts to cloud your focus. He tries to exhaust your faith. He sends small irritations, subtle doubts, and unnecessary drama to pull your attention away from what truly matters. Because if he can distract you, he can delay you. Think about the timing. Right before major breakthroughs in your life, has there not often been unexpected resistance? Arguments that seemed to come from nowhere. Delays that made no sense. Weariness that felt heavier than usual. It is a pattern. When something significant is approaching, opposition tries to create noise. The goal is simple: keep you so preoccupied with minor battles that you miss the major blessing walking toward you. The enemy understands the power of divine connection. He knows that one right relationship can accelerate years of waiting. One strategic encounter can unlock doors that effort alone could never open. So he targets your perception. He wants you skeptical when you should be open, suspicious when you should be discerning, withdrawn when you should be engaged. He plants seeds of doubt like, "This is nothing special," or "You have been disappointed before," or "Don't get your hopes up." But those whispers are not wisdom. They are interference. Midnight, as mentioned before, represents more than a time on the clock. It represents transition. It represents the closing of one chapter and the birth of another. And transitions are vulnerable moments. They are sacred but sensitive. The enemy often attacks most fiercely at the edge of breakthrough. Not because he is winning, but because he knows he is losing ground. If you feel resistance right now, it may actually be confirmation that something valuable is near. You must guard your focus in this season. Guard your thoughts. Guard your reactions. Not every disagreement deserves your energy. Not every offense deserves your response. The more distracted you become, the less spiritually alert you remain. And this is a moment that requires alertness. The surprise visitor connected to your destiny may arrive quietly. If your mind is cluttered with frustration, you may overlook the significance of what is unfolding. There is also emotional warfare that can surface before destiny encounters. Old memories may resurface. Past betrayals may try to influence your expectations. You may find yourself thinking about previous connections that did not work out. But hear this clearly: not every new person carries the spirit of the last disappointment. Do not punish a divine appointment for the mistakes of a former season. God does not repeat pain. He redeems it. The visitor coming into your life is not a replay of your past. They are part of your progression. It is also possible that distractions will appear in the form of busyness, sudden tasks, urgent but unimportant demands, invitations that pull you away from where you need to be. Pay attention to how your schedule shifts. Pay attention to what tries to consume your attention. Sometimes the enemy does not attack through fear, he attacks through overload. He fills your plate so completely that you have no space left to recognize destiny when it stands in front of you. But here's the powerful truth: what God has ordained cannot be permanently stolen. It can only be delayed through unawareness or disobedience. And that is why this message is reaching you now. Heaven is exposing the strategy of distraction before it succeeds. You are being warned so you can stay anchored. You are being alerted so you can remain steady. If you have felt unusually tempted to withdraw lately, to isolate yourself, to avoid conversations, understand that isolation is another common tactic. Destiny often flows through connection, so isolation attempts to cut off the channel before the blessing arrives. Do not retreat into silence when alignment is approaching. Remain open. Remain prayerful. Remain present. The enemy also tries to distort your perception of yourself. He reminds you of your flaws. He magnifies your insecurities. He tells you that you are not ready for the next level. But destiny is not about perfection. It is about positioning. God does not wait for flawless people. He works with willing hearts. The visitor connected to your destiny is not looking for someone who has everything figured out. They are aligning with someone who is prepared to grow. Midnight is approaching, spiritually speaking. The line between old and new is thinning. The distractions may increase slightly as the moment draws closer. But do not be alarmed. Instead, let it sharpen your awareness. When you recognize distraction as a tactic, it loses its power. When you see through confusion, clarity returns. This is not the time to shrink back. This is not the time to second-guess your worth. This is the time to stand firm in expectation. The opposition you feel is not proof that you are off track. It is evidence that you are close. Very close. Stay steady. Stay attentive. Because once this encounter unfolds, you will realize that every attempt to distract you was a sign that something significant was about to break through. And you will be grateful that you did not allow temporary noise to rob you of a permanent shift. The timing of this encounter is not accidental. It is not random. It is not simply convenient. It is aligned. When God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He is revealing more than the identity of a person. He is revealing the precision of divine timing. There is a clock in heaven that does not run according to human anxiety, human delay, or human expectation. It runs according to purpose. And when that clock strikes the appointed moment, events begin to move with unusual speed and clarity. You may have felt like you were waiting longer than expected. You may have questioned why certain doors did not open sooner. You may have wondered why connections you tried to force never seemed to take root. But what if the delay was protection? What if the pause was preparation? God does not release destiny prematurely. He waits until you are strong enough to handle what is coming and until the other pieces are mature enough to align with you. Timing is everything in the spirit. There are seasons when you are being developed in hidden places. Quiet seasons. Stretching seasons. Seasons that feel slow and uneventful. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. Character is forming. Discernment is sharpening. And at the same time, the person connected to your destiny is also being prepared. Your path is unfolding. Their lessons are shaping them. Your experiences are positioning them. So when the moment of connection arrives, it is not chaotic. It is synchronized. Before midnight carries spiritual symbolism that you must not overlook. Midnight represents transition, but it also represents culmination. It is the final hour of one day and the threshold of another. It is the point where what was can no longer continue as it has been. When God speaks about urgency before midnight, He is saying that a chapter is closing. Patterns are ending. Cycles are completing. And as this closing happens, the new must be introduced. Sometimes God waits until the last possible moment to move, not to cause fear, but to demonstrate sovereignty. When all other options seem exhausted, when you feel like nothing has changed, suddenly something shifts. A message arrives. A person calls. An opportunity appears. It feels sudden to you, but it was scheduled all along. Heaven is never late. It is exact. There is also something powerful about divine acceleration. When the appointed time comes, progress that once felt slow begins to speed up. Conversations flow effortlessly. Decisions become clearer. Doors that were once shut begin to open without resistance. That is what happens when timing and obedience meet. The visitor connected to your destiny is part of that acceleration. Their arrival signals movement. It signals that waiting is giving way to action. You must understand that divine timing does not respond to pressure. It responds to readiness. If this message is reaching you now, it means readiness has been achieved in ways you may not even recognize. You have grown. You have matured. You had endured. Even the struggles you thought were setbacks were actually strengthening you for this moment. The timing is not just about them being ready. It is about you being ready. And here is a deeper truth. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs happen when you least expect them. When you stop striving. When you release control. When you surrender outcomes. And surrender creates space for divine orchestration. The more tightly you try to control destiny, the more resistance you feel. But when you trust God's timing, alignment flows naturally. The urgency in this message is not meant to create panic. It is meant to awaken awareness. There are moments in life when hesitation can cause missed opportunity. Not because God withdraws the blessing, but because distraction or doubt causes you to overlook it. This is why spiritual sensitivity matters right now. The timing is precise. The alignment is delicate. The window is intentional. You may look back at this period in your life and realize that it was the turning point. Not because of something dramatic, but because of something divinely timed. The visitor may appear in a way that feels almost too simple. A casual introduction. A shared conversation. An unexpected collaboration. But the simplicity does not reduce the significance. Often, the most life-altering moments begin quietly. Do not rush ahead of the timing, and do not lag behind it. Stay present. Stay prayerful. Stay attentive. When the moment unfolds, respond with wisdom, not fear. Speak with clarity. Listen with intention. Act with discernment. Because once divine timing activates, it rarely repeats in the exact same way. This is your crossover moment. The final hour before midnight, spiritually speaking. What you thought was stagnant is about to move. What you thought was delayed is about to align. The visitor is not early. The visitor is not late. They are arriving at the exact second heaven ordained. Trust the timing. Trust the orchestration. Trust that every delay, every lesson, every quiet season was leading to this alignment. And when it unfolds, you will see that nothing in your journey was wasted. It was all preparation for a divinely timed encounter that carries the weight of destiny. This visitor carries a key you have been praying for, even if you did not realize that your prayer would be answered this way. When God says a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He is revealing that this person is not empty-handed. They are not entering your life randomly. They are carrying something specific, something intentional, something that fits a door you have been standing in front of for a long time. Think about the prayers you have whispered in private, the ones you spoke late at night when no one else could hear you, the requests for clarity, the pleas for direction, the longing for opportunity, the cry for confirmation that you are not moving in the wrong direction. God heard every word. Not one of them fell to the ground unnoticed. But sometimes, instead of sending a sign in the sky, He sends a person with insight. Instead of writing the answer on a wall, He allows it to be spoken through a conversation. This is how heaven often works. The key you have been waiting for may not look like a golden object in your hand. It may look like advice that shifts your thinking. It may look like a connection to someone else who holds influence. It may look like encouragement that strengthens your confidence at a critical moment. Keys do not always look dramatic, but they unlock what effort alone cannot. There are doors in your life that you have tried to push open with persistence. You have knocked repeatedly. You have prepared yourself. You have improved your skills, yet the door remained closed. That does not mean you were rejected. It may simply mean you did not yet have the right key. And now, God is aligning you with someone who carries what you need to step through. This visitor may not even be aware of the full impact they will have on your life. Sometimes destiny helpers do not realize they are helpers. They are simply being obedient in their own journey. They are simply responding to their own assignments. But when paths cross, purpose ignites. The conversation that feels natural to them may feel life-changing to you. The suggestion they casually offer may become the direction that reshapes your future. It is also possible that the key they carry is not about opportunity, but about correction. Sometimes we pray for breakthrough, but what we truly need is realignment. We ask God to open doors, but He first sends someone to adjust our perspective. Do not resist feedback if it comes wrapped in wisdom. Not every correction is criticism. Some corrections are keys disguised as refinement. There is humility required in this season. You must be willing to receive. Pride can block what heaven is sending. If the visitor speaks something that challenges you, do not immediately defend yourself. Pause. Listen. Weigh the words carefully. The key may be hidden in a sentence that feels uncomfortable at first. Growth often begins where comfort ends. You have also been praying for acceleration. You have felt that you are capable of more than what you are currently experiencing. You sense potential inside you that has not yet been fully activated. The visitor may carry access to environments where that potential can be expressed. They may introduce you to spaces you could not enter alone. They may recommend you, connect you, or collaborate with you in ways that increase your reach. But here is the important truth: a key only works if you use it. When the opportunity arises, you must respond. When the conversation opens a door, you must step forward. When the invitation is extended, you must consider it seriously. Fear can cause you to hesitate at the very moment the key is placed in your hand. Do not allow self-doubt to keep you standing outside a door that has already been unlocked. There is also spiritual confirmation that often accompanies divine keys. You may feel peace even in unfamiliar territory. You may sense alignment that is difficult to explain logically. Pay attention to that peace. God often confirms His timing through inner steadiness. It does not mean there will be no challenge. It means there will be clarity. This visitor is not here to complete your destiny for you. They are here to unlock a part of it. You still have responsibility. You still have obedience. You still have growth ahead. But what you could not access alone, you will now approach with assistance. That is the beauty of divine connection. It reminds you that you are not meant to walk this path in isolation. For a long time, you may have felt like you were searching for something undefined, like there was a missing piece you could not identify. This encounter may reveal what that piece is. It may bring structure to your ideas, direction to your passion, strategy to your vision. Suddenly, what once felt scattered begins to make sense. The key is coming through relationship, through conversation, through alignment. It may not arrive with a dramatic announcement, but it will carry unmistakable impact. And when you recognize it, you will understand that your prayers were answered more precisely than you imagined. Stay open. Stay humble. Stay ready. Because the visitor approaching your life is not empty-handed. They are carrying a key shaped exactly for a door that has been waiting for this moment to open. Before this encounter unfolds, there is something God is asking you to do. Prepare your heart. Preparation is not about arranging your schedule or rehearsing conversations. It is about aligning your spirit. When God says a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, He is not only arranging the meeting externally, He is refining you internally. Because what you carry into the encounter will determine what you carry out of it. You cannot step into a new season with an old mindset. If you approach this visitor through the lens of past disappointments, you may misinterpret their purpose. If you allow fear from previous betrayals to color your perception, you may resist the very connection meant to elevate you. Preparation begins with release. Release the hurt that taught you to expect the worst. Release the cynicism that formed when things did not go as planned. Release the belief that every opportunity will eventually collapse. That was yesterday's story. This is a new chapter. God is calling you to spiritual readiness. Spiritual readiness is sensitivity. It is the ability to discern tone, timing, and intention. It is the awareness that not everything is as it first appears. The visitor connected to your destiny may not announce themselves as important. They may not carry a title that impresses you. They may not look like what you imagined. But readiness allows you to perceive value beyond appearance. There is also an invitation here to cultivate peace. Anxiety clouds discernment. When you are overly anxious, you either rush into things too quickly or withdraw too soon. Peace stabilizes you. Peace allows you to listen fully. Peace helps you respond instead of react. If you sense nervousness about what is coming, bring it before God. Ask Him to quiet your thoughts. Ask Him to anchor your emotions. A prepared heart is a peaceful heart. Examine your expectations. Are you expecting this encounter to fix everything instantly? Destiny rarely unfolds in a single dramatic moment. It often begins with a seed, a conversation that opens a path, a suggestion that plants an idea. If you expect immediate transformation, you might overlook gradual activation. Prepare yourself to value beginnings. Even small shifts can lead to massive change over time. Humility is another crucial element of preparation. Pride closes doors before they even open. If you assume you already know everything, you will not be teachable. If you assume you do not need help, you will not recognize assistance when it arrives. The visitor may carry wisdom that challenges you. They may offer perspective that stretches you. Remain teachable. Remain open. Growth often feels unfamiliar at first. At the same time, preparation does not mean losing discernment. You are not called to be naive. You are called to be wise. Rave for clarity. Pray for confirmation. If this visitor is truly connected to your destiny, there will be alignment that extends beyond surface conversation. There will be consistency. There will be integrity. There will be fruit over time. A prepared heart listens carefully and observes patiently. There may also be practical preparation required. Perhaps you have been delaying certain responsibilities. Perhaps there are unfinished tasks that need your attention. Sometimes God asks you to tidy your current season before stepping into the next. Not because you must be perfect, but because order creates space for expansion. Consider what in your life needs adjustment. Is your schedule too crowded? Is your focus divided? Is your time mismanaged? Preparing your heart can include preparing your habits. Forgiveness is another powerful form of preparation. If there is someone you still resent, that resentment can cloud your perception. Unforgiveness narrows your capacity to trust. You do not have to reconcile with everyone, but you do need to release what burdens your spirit. Freedom internally creates clarity externally. Speak declarations over yourself in this season. Declare that you are ready. Declare that you are discerning. Declare that you will not miss what God is sending. Words shape expectation. And perception influences decision. When you declare readiness, you position your mind to recognize opportunity. There is something sacred about this preparation phase. It is quiet but powerful. It is unseen but impactful. Just as a field must be prepared before seeds are planted, your heart must be ready before destiny is activated. The visitor is approaching, but you are not waiting passively. You are aligning actively. You may not control when the encounter happens, but you do control how you receive it. Prepare your heart to respond with wisdom, not impulse. Prepare your heart to listen deeply, not superficially. Prepare your heart to step forward in faith, not retreat in fear. This is your moment of refinement before revelation. The alignment is close. The conversation is near. And when it begins, you will sense the difference, because you took the time to prepare. A ready heart recognizes destiny when it stands at the door. When this meeting happens, something will shift that cannot be reversed. The prophetic weight of this moment is not temporary. God is not arranging this surprise visitor for a small adjustment. He is initiating a shift. After this encounter, things will not remain the same. The way you think will expand. The way you see yourself will mature. The way you approach your future will sharpen. This is not exaggeration. This is alignment. There are moments in life that divide time into two parts, before and after. Before the conversation, after the conversation, before the introduction, after the introduction. You may not recognize it instantly, but as days unfold, you will begin to notice the change. Doors that once seemed distant will feel closer. Ideas that once felt impossible will feel attainable. Confidence that once wavered will stabilize. That is the evidence of a prophetic shift. God often uses encounters to break cycles. Cycles of limitation. Cycles of doubt. Cycles of stagnation. You may have felt like you were walking in circles, revisiting the same challenges repeatedly. But when divine alignment occurs, repetition is interrupted. A new pattern begins. A new rhythm forms. The visitor connected to your destiny carries influence that disrupts old limitations. This shift may not only be external, it will be internal. Something in your spirit will awaken. You will feel a renewed sense of direction. Clarity will replace confusion. Even if challenges remain, you will approach them differently. Because alignment changes perspective, and perspective changes action. Favor is also released through alignment. Favor does not always mean ease. It means access. It means doors opening that effort alone could not force open. It means conversations flowing with unexpected grace. It means being remembered in rooms where your name was never mentioned before. The visitor may become a conduit of that favor, not because they control your destiny, but because they are positioned within it. There may also be a stretching that follows this meeting. New expectations, new responsibilities, and new opportunities that require growth. Do not interpret stretching as burden. It is expansion. When God expands your territory, it requires adjustment. The shift you are stepping into will demand courage. It will require faith, but it will also bring fulfillment. Some of you will notice that certain old connections begin to fade naturally after this encounter. Not because of conflict, but because seasons change. Alignment often reorders relationships. Do not cling to what no longer fits your direction. As this new chapter unfolds, trust that God is pruning wisely. What remains will support your growth. What leaves was not designed for your next level. The prophetic shift will also bring clarity about decisions you have been postponing. Questions you have wrestled with will find answers. Paths that seemed confusing will become straightforward. You will look back and realize that this encounter was the missing piece that helped everything make sense. But here is what you must remember. Shifts require participation. When the opportunity to act arises, do not hesitate. When clarity comes, do not delay. Movement sustains momentum. If you remain passive after the shift begins, you may slow what God is accelerating. Stay responsive. Stay engaged. There is something powerful about recognizing that this is not coincidence. This is orchestration. The same God who prepared you in silence is now positioning you in visibility. The same God who allowed you to endure quiet seasons is now initiating public movement. The shift will not be chaotic. It will be purposeful. You may feel excitement mixed with uncertainty. That is normal. Every new chapter carries both anticipation and responsibility. But do not let uncertainty silence your faith. The fact that this meeting was divinely arranged means it carries divine covering. You are not stepping into this shift alone. Hold on to this truth as we continue. What is unfolding is bigger than a single conversation. It is the beginning of a chain reaction. One introduction leads to another. One opportunity leads to expansion. One act of obedience unlocks multiple doors. You will be grateful that you stayed attentive, because what is about to unfold next carries even deeper instruction for how to walk in this shift with wisdom. Type "My Destiny" is activated in the comments. Blessing code 329 is now activated. And as this prophetic shift is stirring in your spirit, hear this as a continuation of the same alignment. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are helping carry this shift into homes and hearts that are waiting for confirmation. The word declares that when you cast your bread upon the waters, it returns after many days, and I believe your seed becomes a river of light reaching souls before their midnight hour. I feel led to say this plainly. As you give, you participate in someone else's destiny activation. The PayPal link is in the description, and the QR code may be flashing on your screen. This is not interruption. It is invitation. Your generosity becomes oil that keeps this prophetic lamp burning brightly across nations. As you release your seed, may favor follow you, may doors respond to you, and may the same shift we are declaring overflow into your household. Step forward now and sow into the movement God is breathing upon. When the visitor appears, what you do next will matter. This is not just about recognizing the moment. It is about responding correctly within it. God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, but destiny is not automatic. It requires participation. It requires discernment. It requires courage. The encounter itself may be divinely arranged, but your reaction will determine how fully it unfolds. The first instruction is simple but powerful. Listen more than you speak. When something significant is unfolding, there is a temptation to fill the space with your own plans, your own ideas, your own explanations. But wisdom begins with listening. Let the visitor speak. Let them reveal what they carry. Pay attention not only to their words, but to their tone, their consistency, their intention. Sometimes the most important details are not in what is said loudly, but in what is spoken quietly. Discernment is critical here. Discernment is not suspicion. It is spiritual awareness guided by peace. If this visitor is truly connected to your destiny, there will be a sense of alignment that goes beyond excitement. There will be clarity. There will be coherence. What they say will resonate with what God has already been stirring inside you. It may confirm something you have not shared with anyone. It may bring language to something you have felt but could not articulate. Do not rush the process. If an opportunity is presented, ask questions. Seek understanding. Clarify expectations. A destiny connection does not require blind agreement. It requires wise engagement. When you respond thoughtfully, you protect both the relationship and your future. At the same time, do not allow overthinking to paralyze you. There is a difference between caution and fear. Fear imagines failure before movement begins. Caution simply seeks clarity. If peace is present and alignment is evident, be willing to step forward. Destiny often requires boldness at the moment of decision. The door may not stay open forever. When timing and confirmation meet, action should follow. There is also humility required in this response. The visitor may see potential in you that you have underestimated. They may challenge you to rise higher than you feel prepared for. Do not shrink in that moment. Do not downplay your ability. If God has arranged this meeting, He has already factored in your capacity. Trust that you are more ready than you think. Be authentic. Do not perform. Do not attempt to impress artificially. Authenticity builds lasting connection. If this relationship is meant to impact your destiny, it will be built on truth, not pretense. Speak honestly. Share wisely. Allow the interaction to develop naturally without forcing depth too quickly. You must also act quickly when clarity is established. Delayed obedience can weaken momentum. If you are prompted to send a follow-up message, do it. If you are invited to take a next step, respond with intention. Momentum sustains alignment. Small acts of responsiveness show readiness for larger responsibility. And let me say this clearly, do not let pride block collaboration. Some destinies are fulfilled in partnership. Independence is valuable, but isolation is limiting. If this visitor is offering support, strategy, or shared vision, consider it prayerfully. You do not lose strength by aligning with the right people. You gain reach. If this message is speaking directly to your situation right now, take a moment to engage with it. Like this video as a declaration that you are ready to respond wisely. Comment what you are expecting God to align in your life. Subscribe if you have not already, because the next message may confirm what begins through this encounter. Share this with someone who needs clarity about a divine connection in their own journey. Your engagement is not just digital interaction. It is agreement with the shift unfolding in your life. There is something powerful about responding publicly in faith. It strengthens your confidence. It solidifies your expectation. And it reminds you that you are not walking this season alone. As this encounter unfolds, remember that your posture determines your progress. Remain grounded. Remain prayerful. Remain discerning. The right response will unlock layers of opportunity you cannot yet see. What begins as a single conversation may expand into collaboration, growth, and influence far beyond your current imagination. And here is something you must hold on to as we move forward. The way you handle this moment sets the tone for everything that follows. The wisdom you apply now will shape the testimony you speak later. What is about to be revealed next will show you how even the smallest detail in this interaction carries weight. Stay attentive, because the final instructions will bring everything into focus. Here's a test hidden inside this surprise. Not a test designed to make you fail, but one designed to reveal your readiness. Whenever God connects destiny to a person, there is often a layer beneath the surface. The encounter itself is a gift, but your response to it becomes the examination. God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny, and within that connection lies a moment that will quietly measure your humility, your discernment, and your obedience. The test may not look dramatic. It may appear as a simple decision, a choice to respond quickly or delay, a decision to remain humble or assert control. a moment where you are given an opportunity that feels slightly beyond your comfort zone. These moments are subtle, but they are significant. Destiny is rarely unlocked by grand gestures alone. It is often secured through small acts of faithfulness. One of the greatest tests is humility. When destiny approaches, pride can attempt to rise with it. You may feel validated, noticed, or finally recognized. And while those feelings are not wrong, they can become dangerous if they shift your focus from gratitude to entitlement. The visitor connected to your destiny is not proof that you are superior to others. It is proof that God trusts you with more. And trust must be handled carefully. Another hidden test is patience. Even though this encounter carries urgency, it does not mean everything will unfold instantly. There may be follow-up conversations. There may be processes that require time. There may be waiting between steps. How you handle that waiting matters. Impatience can strain a connection that was meant to grow naturally. Trust that if God initiated the alignment, He will sustain it in His timing. There may also be a test of discernment. Not everything presented in the encounter will require immediate agreement. You must be able to distinguish between opportunity and distraction, even within a divine meeting. Sometimes destiny connections bring multiple paths, and you must choose wisely which direction aligns most deeply with your calling. Seek clarity before commitment. Pray before promise. Move in confidence but not carelessness. Integrity is another layer of the test. The visitor may entrust you with information, ideas, or access. How you handle what is shared will reflect your character. Loose words can weaken strong opportunities. Guard what is confidential. Honor what is sacred. If this connection is meant to carry weight in your future, it must be protected with maturity. There is also a test of courage. The encounter may invite you to step into unfamiliar territory. It may challenge you to pursue something you have hesitated to explore. Fear will whisper that you are not ready. Fear will suggest that you should remain where things are predictable. But growth rarely lives in predictability. The test is whether you will choose safety over expansion. Destiny requires movement. Do not misinterpret the test as pressure. It is preparation. God does not test you to expose weakness publicly. He tests you to strengthen your capacity privately. Each choice you make within this encounter builds the foundation for what follows. If you respond with wisdom now, greater responsibility will feel lighter later. Another subtle test is gratitude. When something long-awaited finally begins to unfold, it is easy to focus only on the outcome. But gratitude keeps your heart aligned. Gratitude reminds you that this is grace, not just effort. It keeps you grounded. A grateful heart sustains relationships. It invites favor to continue flowing. You may not even realize when the test is happening. It may feel like an ordinary exchange. But heaven observes posture more than performance. How you listen, how you speak, how you follow through. These details matter. They signal readiness for the next layer of destiny. If you sense pressure during the interaction, pause internally. Breathe. Pray silently. Ask for wisdom in real time. God is not distant in the moment. He is present within it. He will guide your responses if you remain attentive. You do not have to navigate this alone. Remember that tests are not permanent. They are transitional. Once passed, they open doors. Once navigated wisely, they establish trust. The visitor connected to your destiny may not announce that you are being evaluated, but the outcome of this meeting will be shaped by the maturity you demonstrate. This is not about perfection. You may stumble over words. You may feel nervous. That is human. What matters is sincerity, integrity, and willingness to grow. Destiny does not demand flawlessness. It requires faithfulness. As this encounter unfolds, keep your heart steady. Stay humble. Stay discerning. Stay courageous. The test within the surprise is not there to intimidate you. It is there to elevate you. And when you respond with wisdom, you will step forward not just into opportunity, but into confirmation that you are ready for what God has prepared next. After midnight, everything feels different. Even if the world looks the same, something has shifted. The air feels lighter. The silence feels deeper. The transition is invisible, yet undeniable. This is what happens when one day ends and another begins. And spiritually, this is what is unfolding in your life right now. The visitor connected to your destiny is not just a moment within your current chapter. They are a signal that one season is closing and another is beginning. Midnight represents completion. It marks the end of cycles that have run their course. Patterns that once defined your routine are quietly dissolving. The waiting that felt endless is reaching its conclusion. You may not see fireworks announcing it, but the shift is real. God is moving you from preparation into manifestation, from expectation into experience, from prayer into fulfillment. For a long time, you may have felt suspended between promise and reality. You believed something greater was ahead, but you could not see how it would materialize. You sensed that you were called to more, yet the path seemed unclear. That in-between space can be exhausting. It tests patience. It stretches faith. It challenges confidence. But it also refines character. And now, after midnight, the refining gives way to revealing. The encounter you are stepping into is not random within this timeline. It is positioned at the edge of transition. It is God's way of saying that the preparation phase has achieved its purpose. You have learned what you needed to learn. You have endured what you needed to endure. You have grown in ways you did not always recognize. And now, the door is opening into a chapter that requires the maturity you have developed. After midnight, clarity increases. What once seemed confusing begins to align. You may start to notice that decisions become easier. Opportunities feel more synchronized. Conversations carry deeper meaning. The spiritual fog that once surrounded certain areas of your life begins to lift. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation that you have crossed into new territory. There is also a sense of authority that comes after midnight. Not arrogance, but assurance. You begin to walk differently when you know you are in the right season. Doubt loses its volume. Fear loses its grip. You recognize that God's hand had been guiding you all along. Even the delays make sense in hindsight. Even the disappointments reveal hidden lessons. Do not be surprised if new responsibilities follow quickly. When a new day begins, new tasks emerge. A visitor connected to your destiny may open doors that require commitment. They may invite you into spaces that demand leadership. This is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to confirm that you have stepped into growth. You may also notice that certain old struggles lose their intensity. Temptations that once distracted you may feel weaker. Habits that once held you back may no longer appeal to you. That is the evidence of transition. When God moves you forward, He also empowers you to release what belongs to the past. But remember, after midnight does not mean effortless. Every new day still requires intentional living. You must choose daily to walk in alignment. You must continue listening for guidance. The difference now is that you are no longer striving to enter the next season. You are already in it. There is something sacred about this realization. You are not chasing destiny anymore. You are walking within it. The visitor was not the destination. They were the doorway. And now that you are crossing through, the path ahead begins to unfold with greater clarity. Hold on to gratitude in this moment. Reflect on how far you have come. Think about the prayers that once felt unanswered but are now being fulfilled in unexpected ways. Consider the strength you gained in hidden seasons. Nothing was wasted. Every lesson, every delay, every quiet night prepared you for this crossover. After midnight, the announcement has already been made in the spirit. The new chapter has begun. You may not hear trumpets, but heaven recognizes the shift. And as you continue forward, you will see evidence of it in subtle but undeniable ways. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a more aligned one. A visitor connected to your destiny was the signal. The encounter was a confirmation. And now, the journey unfolds with renewed confidence. Stand firmly in this new day. Walk with assurance. Speak with clarity. Act with faith. Because what lies ahead is not uncertain chaos. It is divinely orchestrated progression. And you are exactly where you are meant to be as this new chapter begins. God says, a surprise visitor is connected to your destiny. And now you understand that this was never just about a person. It was about positioning. It was about preparation. It was about divine timing converging with your obedience. From the very beginning of this message, heaven had been revealing that this encounter is not random, not casual, and not small. It is intentional. It is strategic. It is sacred. You have seen how urgency matters. You have recognized how distraction tries to interfere. You have understood that timing is precise, that preparation is necessary, and that response determines outcome. And now, as this message comes to its close, one truth must anchor your heart. God is not guessing with your life. He is governing it. The visitor connected to your destiny is not an accident moving freely through chaos. They are part of a carefully orchestrated design. The same God who formed your calling has arranged the connections that support it. The same God who planted vision inside you has positioned relationships that will nourish it. Nothing about your future is random. It is written with intention. You may still feel questions lingering. You may still wonder how exactly this will unfold. That is natural. Faith does not require you to know every detail. It requires you to trust the one who holds the details. As this encounter approaches, or as it has already begun to unfold, rest in the assurance that you are not navigating blindly. You are being guided. There is peace available to you right now. Not passive peace, but confident peace. The kind of peace that says, I know God is working, even when I cannot see the full picture. The kind of peace that allows you to step forward without fear of missing what is meant for you. If this visitor is truly connected to your destiny, nothing will be able to block what God has ordained, except disobedience. And you have already positioned yourself in awareness. Do not let anxiety return after this message ends. Do not overanalyze every interaction. Remain discerning, but remain calm. When the moment happens, you will recognize it. There will be confirmation. There will be clarity. And even if the process unfolds gradually, you will sense alignment that cannot be manufactured. This is also a moment to release gratitude. Thank God in advance for what is aligning. Thank Him for the doors that are opening. Thank Him for protection that kept you from premature connections in the past. Some people were not meant to walk into this next chapter with you. Their absence was not rejection. It was redirection. Now, the right alignment is forming. You are stepping into a season where divine orchestration becomes visible. Conversations will carry weight. Invitations will carry opportunity. Even small moments will feel purposeful. And through it all, remember that your destiny is not dependent on one person alone. God is your source. People are vessels. If one path closes, He can open another. But when He highlights a connection with urgency, it is because something meaningful is attached to it. Stand tall in this new chapter. Walk with confidence. Speak with wisdom. Act with courage. The midnight hour has passed. The new day has begun. And you are not behind. You are right on time. I step into my destiny in the comments. Blessing code 902 is now activated. As this message settles into your spirit, hear this final invitation as part of the Say Divine Flow. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are not supporting a platform. You are partnering with a prophetic assignment that reaches souls before their midnight moment. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." And that promise is alive over you now. Your seed becomes light in dark places, oil in empty lamps, and manna for someone praying for confirmation. I sense strongly that this is not a casual opportunity. It is a prophetic response. The PayPal link is in the description, and the QR code may be visible on your screen. Step into obedience without hesitation. As you release your seed, may heaven release acceleration, protection, and unexpected favor over your life. Act now and seal this word with faith. This is not the end. It is the beginning of testimony. And when you look back, you will remember this message as the moment you were warned, prepared, and aligned for the surprise visitor that helped unlock your destiny.